addicted to? And what did this world do to you? What'll it take to get you through? And how long has this had a hold on you?
Hello, welcome to another edition of Addicted2. We're going to get connected right here. I've got Mike from Smart Recovery. So welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
So basically, I don't know a whole lot about how this started or what it's all about. So that's the whole reason to have you over, is to kind of explain it, how all this works.
Like Smart Recovery, how Smart Recovery works? Or?
Well, were you the man that started this in Calgary?
No. So I live in Airdrie.
Okay.
And I went into a treatment program up in High Level. I was there for 28 days, got out, started going to AA groups, did like 90 meetings in 90 days. That's what was recommended. So like it was a lot of meetings.
I bet.
And then I kind of got into, just there was a few people there that I was clashing with, and I found Smart Recovery. So there's a Smart Recovery group in Airdrie, and Smart Recovery stands for Self-Management and Recovery Training. They use cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, like science, basically, to help you get sober. There's no higher power needed.
Okay.
So I checked them out, and I started going to I think it was one meeting a week, because in Airdrie they only had so many facilitators. So I started going, and I loved it. The group was great. It was really positive. You would just go to the meeting, and at the beginning of the meeting, everyone would do like a check-in. So they go around the table, and they'd be like, okay, like, would you have anything to say? And so if you wanted to speak, you would talk about, any of your successes for the week, maybe anything like that's bothering you, or problems that came up that you need, guidance for, or like just some input. So everyone gets a chance to share, which I really enjoyed, because sometimes I've gone to AA meetings and I really wanted to talk. I needed to just let some stuff out, and, I never got that chance. So here, everyone gets a chance to speak. And then after you do the check-in, they move on to a cognitive behavioral therapy technique tool that they use. And every week they'll do a different tool. Like, sure, what's that?
Was that when they were like, I think when I went to the meeting, they passed out they kind of threw down these cards, and they were talking about different emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been one of the techniques they were doing. Like I have a few favorites. There's cost benefit analysis. There's also the hierarchy of values, which I really enjoy. There's play the tape forward, which is the biggest one for me. It's the tool that works for me. I don't know if you know what playing the tape forward means, but
sort of like, basically, if you're thinking of picking up, you've got to figure out what the consequences and what the repercussions
so
are.
Like if I'm sitting there and someone says, hey Mike, do you want a beer? And I'm like, you know what, I would like a beer, but if I have that one beer, I'm going to want 6 beers. And if I have 6 beers, I'm going to want half a bag of cocaine. If I have half a bag of cocaine, I'm going to want a case of beer. That case of beer is going to be up. We're going to up for a while. Then we're going to get an 8-ball of cocaine. Then we're going to be up for a couple of days or whatever. And then the next thing you know, I get into a fight with someone in my house. And then the cops come. And then the cops come and they arrest us because I take a swing at the cop. And then I end up in jail. And then I lose my job. And then, so you just exacerbate it and just play it out, the possibilities of what all could happen. And then it's like, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to do that. So then I just don't do it.
And it's amazing how clear you've got that scenario and story, because you've had this behavior before. I'm guessing, right?
Oh yeah. This is all based on real life things that have happened. So
yeah, because you didn't hesitate when you were telling that. Yeah, it was just right there. Right?
No. So I was doing the Smart Recovery, and they would do the Smart Recovery tools, and then everyone work on the tool, and they have a handbook. Like, how the BA's got the big book, and you do book studies and all that kind of stuff. Well, they do the same thing with Smart Recovery. You get this handbook. It costs like $20, and you basically can go through it at your own pace and do homework and figure out all the tools. So you learn them. You can learn them in the group, or you can learn them by yourself and then apply them to your real life.
So there was a couple of things that really stood out when I went there. I do intend to go back. And one of the things that I thought was really cool is they don't turn anybody away because you don't have to have any one particular problem.
Exactly.
So if you've got a problem with gambling, sex, drugs,
Food,
whatever it is,
pornography,
you're okay to be there.
yeah, anyone is welcome. We prefer to steer the conversations away from higher power stuff because a lot of people that go to Smart Recovery go there specifically because they're not into the whole higher power part of it.
Yeah.
And, they come there to escape that because they've been turned away from AA maybe because they don't believe in God. And they're like, well, if you don't believe in God or a higher power, then, well, this isn't for you.
You're kind of stuck. Yeah.
You're kind of stuck. It's not going to work for you. So people have discovered Smart Recovery and it's international. It's all over the world.
Okay.
Yeah. So after going to Smart Recovery for, I don't know, maybe like a year or something, I decided to become a facilitator. So
now what's involved in that? Some training.
Yeah, just like a online book program you go through. I think it costs like $75, but they paid for it for me once I became the facilitator. And then you get like a facilitator's guide book, and then you can plan out like the meetings that you do. So it's just like someone chairing an AA meeting. You just learn how to go through all like reading out the stuff at the beginning of the meeting, the rules and all that kind of thing. And then you let everyone check in, and you have to kind of facilitate the meeting. Don't let things get out of control. Don't let people talk too much. Don't, keep people on the topics that we're talking about, prevent people from butting heads kind of thing.
Well, what I found really interesting was the fact that after somebody shared, somebody else around the table could kind of
talk.
Yeah. Give an opinion.
There's crosstalk allowed, basically, but don't get too out of control. But yeah.
But I mean, I didn't find that. I found there was a lot of respect that when the person was speaking, you didn't hear somebody trying to interrupt or feedback in.
Mm-hmm.
After they were done.
Several people might chime in and be like, hey, like I had that same experience. This is what I did.
Exactly.
Oh, I know somewhere you can go that can give you advice on that or get help for that. Or I know a doctor that's really good. Or I know a pharmacist that's really, just anything that they spoke about. If you have any lived experience on it, you can share advice, and it goes around the table and people start bouncing ideas back. And forth. And, yeah, it's great. That's kind of why I like it, because I'm a talker. I'm a question asker. I like to learn that way. And so when I go to AA and I sit there and I get to listen to everybody, but I don't get a chance to talk or vent or get anything out, it's very unproductive for me, because then I leave the meeting upset that I never got
a chance to
share. So it's great. And then also people will offer feedback for me and give me the right answers, rather than maybe sharing and then leaving and going, well, I'm glad I shared, but what the hell? I don't know what to do about my situation. No one offered any advice or anything. So this is great.
Well, the other thing that I found was very different was the fact that if somebody has a slip, they don't start over, and they don't have the shame and blame as in other 12-step programs.
Exactly.
I don't really like to just pick out on one particular, because I mean, they're all, let's face it, kind of singing from the same songbook.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, take what works for you, right? If AA works for you, great. Like, I'm not trying to bash AA. If AA helps a lot of people,
it does.
But it also doesn't help a lot of people. There's people that just aren't into higher power, and it's just not going to work for them. So they get turned away, or they have to find something else. So like, what you were saying is about like not starting over. That's correct. We believe that relapsing can be part of your recovery story. Not everyone's going to relapse, but some people have to relapse over and over a few times before it finally sinks in. But we're not going to turn them away, or we're not going to make them feel guilty, or we're not going to make them feel bad about, let's say they were sober for a year after being addicted for 20 years. And they stay sober for a year, and then they slip for 2 or 3 days, but then they come to a meeting, they get right back, and they're like, I screwed up. I did this, I did that. And then we're like, you know what? That's okay. Maybe that's part of your story. Just let's be thankful nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
You didn't die or kill anybody or get arrested. Let's be thankful for that. And let's learn from this. but it's not like, okay, you've been sober a year, now you used for a couple of days, okay, now you're starting way back from square one. Like, it's a personal choice. Like, you can say, you know what, I was using for a year, I was sober for a year, used for a couple of days, I'm going to count myself back to square one. You can do that. But if you don't want to, you just say, okay, I've learned from this. I'm going to move on from it. We're not going to hold it against you. We're not going to like, oh, day one, you got to start over. We're not going to point any fingers or make you feel bad about it. We're just going to say, okay, let's learn from this and let's just keep going, because let's face it, me, myself, I started drinking and using at 16, and it wasn't until I was 30, 36, 30, because I'm 47. Yeah. So it wasn't until I was 36 that I finally sobered up. And so I spent over like a long 20 years or whatever.
I think the first time I did it, I was about 35 or 36 when I started cleaning up.
To try and
and
clean up.
I definitely went back out and did some more research too. So I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I
So
mean,
you spend 20 years messing your whole life up. You can't expect to fix it like that, right? It's going to take some time. Like, luckily for me, I've never relapsed. I got sober. I went to the treatment program, 28 days. I got out. I did 90 meetings in 90 days, found smart recovery, started fundraising, started being active in the community and doing all kinds of great things. And it opened up my life, and it, like, speaking and helping people and traveling around. I traveled around Alberta for a bit, speaking about addictions and mental health, and it helped heal me, and it kept me on the straight and narrow. But I do have a lot of friends that got sober and then relapsed and got sober and relapsed, and that's fine. That's their story. But for me, I'm just thankful I've never relapsed, and I'm clean from all my DOCs, and I even quit smoking cigarettes. And
wicked one.
yeah, 5 years no smoking cigarettes now, and over 10 years off of all my DOCs. So
Good for
alcohol
you.
and coke and crack and meth, and
I'm at about this June be 8 years
oh,
for
nice,
smoking.
good.
And then I've got 12 in the other. But I mean, the wildest thing, man, like, I think it was about 2 years ago, for no reason at all. I wasn't stressed out, nothing.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I had an urge for a cigarette. And I just thought, I almost broke down and went to a store.
Yeah,
And it seemed like it lasted for ever.
yeah,
And I kind of describe it. I was thinking about that instance, and I was thinking about addiction is like saying, okay, I'm going to stand on the top of this telephone pole with nothing to hang on to.
hmm
And the negative lower powers like, okay, well, I'm waiting.
hmm
You're going to get tired.
hmm
You're going to get sore. You're going to get thirsty. But along the way, we're going to play a game. I'm going to poke you.
hmm
I'm going to try to knock you off there. And then, so standing on that pole, 3 minutes seems like 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I am getting tired. I am getting thirsty. And trying to get, and that's what it's like,
Mhm.
especially in the beginning. You're trying to stay in that pole, and then you're looking down and you're like, something's trying to poke you, and then you start swaying a little bit. Well, and then your mind's playing tricks on you, and before you know it, you're like, yeah, I think I'm falling off. So
Mhm.
I do like the idea that the whole approach to this isn't to blame or shame, like you're saying right in that acronym, is you're in charge of your own recovery, which
Yeah.
ultimately you are anyway.
We believe the power is within you. The power and responsibility to get sober is within you. It's within everybody. And like me, I'm on this planet, and it's up to me to do it. I can't. This is just my personal belief. I don't pray. I give thanks every day. I give thanks every night, but I don't pray for anything. I don't ask for anything, because I don't think anything's going to help me other than me. I have to do it. It's up to me. And that's it. That's my belief. And if you don't do it, then you don't get the help. But for other people, fine. They can pray and it works for them. But for me, I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, went to church, did all of that. And I don't like it. It just didn't stick. And it doesn't work.
I've met a lot of people that I didn't grow up like that. I was Catholic and baptized, but I didn't go to church. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have a lot of resentment because back in the day it was fear based
Yeah.
and everything else. So no, that like I mean, I agree with basically you're in charge of your own like however you get help. I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
not here to judge any one way is better than any other
Yeah.
because I mean, in 12-step programs, they're great. They've
Yeah.
helped out a lot of people. But let's face it, there's not a high success rate. So there's
Right.
got to be different ways and there's got to be more. And so if this works for some people, right on.
Yeah.
I do think that there's still some commonalities there. It's the fact that you show up and you meet
Yeah. And you
you've
don't
got some
contribute
connection.
money.
You've got connections with people week after week, and you're forging some friendships and relationships that way with people that are,
Mhm.
you know, coming together trying to beat their demons,
Yeah.
whatever they are.
Well, so like someone once said to me at AA when I was telling them, I'm kind of not liking this anymore. And they're like, well, take what you like and leave the rest.
Exactly.
So, like some of the steps that AA talks about, like number one for me is admitting you have no control, right, over your addiction. And I didn't. So, that to me, honesty is step number one for me. Like, if being honest with yourself and saying, hey, I can't drink, I can't do coke. I'm one of those people that can't do that because I go out of control and I end up in jail or wherever. So I can't do that. So honesty is number one. So I love that step. And so that's the one that always stays with me. And then also like the one, I think it's step 4 or 5 or something. Maybe it's like taking moral inventory of yourself. I'm probably got the steps wrong, but either way, like taking a moral inventory of yourself. Every day I go reflect on the day and okay, like maybe I judge someone and I shouldn't have judged them, So I'm like, okay, you don't do like I go play stuff back through my head and say, okay, I did this wrong or I didn't handle this situation right. So I got to correct that and fix that. Maybe I got to make amends with this person and tell them I'm sorry. And, so I do that kind of stuff, which is like all about AA.
Well, basically, and it's not just the fact that I just refer to it as the 12 steps because let's face it, it can be SANAA,
Mhm.
like it's all based on that same
Yeah.
principle. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. For
so,
sure.
so there's a lot of this that's incorporated. They just have a little bit different outlook on it.
Right. Right.
And the fact that they accept anybody is the
Mhm.
really cool thing. I was able to meet a couple in there. No, I'm not going to say any names
Yeah. Of
because
course.
anonymity. But I just thought, and I was speaking with this lady outside. She was having a smoke, and I am trying to get them to come on too because they've been married for 40 years, and she doesn't have an addiction, but she's come to the meetings to support her husband because she wanted to learn all about it.
Yeah.
And again, in some other instances, there it's all closed, and I just thought it's cool that anybody can go, anybody can participate.
Yeah.
So it's not really closing anybody off to it.
Yeah,
So,
they let like I know at first we were like if someone had like a spouse or someone that wanted to come with them for support, yeah, that's great. You could totally do that. Then what we did is I don't know if they're doing it. No, they're definitely not doing it anymore in Airdrie. They were doing it for a while, but it was a friends and family smart recovery meeting. So people that were friends or family of a person with addictions, they could come to the meeting, and we had a facilitator who didn't have addiction problems, but was the spouse of the other facilitator who had addiction problems who ran the other meetings. So she ran the friends and family meetings, and you could come to those and she would teach you like, how to deal with some of the things you're going to have to be put up with from your spouse who's got the addiction issues, and they would help you learn to speak to them and how to try and get them help and how to manage that. So that was really great as well.
so when you're talking about the workbook, just when I was there in that particular meeting, they were talking about they were putting down these cards and they were saying, okay, well, we're talking about emotions. So basically, your homework was going to be pick out whatever stands out the most for you and think about that emotion or emotions for the week and how that pertains to you. So I was kind of getting the feeling that it's a little bit different when you were saying that these facilitators and there's a workbook. Can you walk us through a little bit of the workbook? Is that it seems to me there's more instead of step work, it's sort of the same, but more coping strategies. Am I
Coping
right?
strategies, exactly. Cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, just like, okay, so cost benefit analysis. That's the one where, like, okay, what's the cost of me using? Right? So like if I use, I could go to jail, I could lose my wife, it costs money, it will affect me mentally, like all of those things. So you make like charts, and it's kind of hard for me to explain like how they like the tools, but
Yeah.
okay, one of my favorites is the hierarchy of values. So we'll have days where you write down 10 of your values, right? Like honesty, hard work, family,
Loyalty.
loyalty, like things like that. And so you would write down 10 of them, and then you'd be asked to, okay, now pick 3 of those, your top 3. So and your hierarchy values can change. Like so for me personally right now, like honesty is definitely one of them, family, and helping others. Those are my 3 hierarchy values. But your hierarchy values can change. So let's say I had a kid, well maybe now family, like my kids are going to be my values, like you know what I mean, rather than my
Sure.
parents, like well my parents will always be up there, but like your values can change. Like maybe you get a new job, and as you really love this job, now hard work is your top value. I want to go in and work hard, and I love my job, and that's what I want to do. So for me, honesty, helping others, and my family are the 3 that keep me on the straight and narrow. And just like, oh, and another thing I'll say, a lot of people don't do this, but when I got sober, I was very vocal. Like I believe in recovering loudly so other people don't suffer silently. That's one of my favorite sayings. And that's so I'd be vocal on Facebook. I was on the news, I was on the radio,
Oh, really?
podcasts. Oh yeah, I've been on the news quite a bit, but I would do all of that. And some of the people in AA are like, you're supposed to be anonymous. You shouldn't be out there talking about this.
It's your
And
choice, though.
I'm like, yeah, like I'm trying to help other people. If I don't talk about it and open up about it and show that I'm vulnerable, and it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to have these problems, and I'm dealing with them, it inspires other people to do the same. So to me, I think you have to talk about it. So like one time I was on the news, I was on CTV, and I was talking about suicide and my cocaine addiction. Later that night, 3 in the morning, I got a call from a lawyer, and he was high as heck. And we spoke for like 3 or 4 hours, and he was asking me all kinds of questions. And he said, he wanted to kill himself, and he just didn't know what to do. And he said he saw me on the news, and he ended up getting high, and he wanted to die. And then he said he decided to reach out and call me. So he reached out and called me. We spoke for 3 or 4 hours. He called me about a month later and said he was going to rehab. So if I hadn't been on the news and I hadn't talked about that, that guy might have killed himself. You know what I mean? So
Well, one of the themes I've, started to come across, especially starting to do this podcast, is how prevalent we've had addictions for a long time, but COVID really brought a lot of this stuff to the
yeah,
forefront.
COVID is
And
terrible.
like I don't know if it was bad, good, bad, or indifferent, but one of the first things the government did, they wouldn't close the liquor stores, and maybe maybe that was a good thing because I'm not sure if that was good or bad. I mean, it wasn't for me, but somebody made that decision.
Yeah.
But having coming through that really opened up a lot of people's eyes, and now there's a little Vancouver in every
Hmm.
city you go to, and it's sort of coming like becoming more of a top issue where people are talking about it and saying, "Look, we've got to do something."
Yeah.
These homeless people are not just people that you want to just throw them aside and they're a nuisance. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If anything, they're growing, and they're downtown. And they're hanging their clothes up, and people don't. They're an eyesore. Well, we've got to do something about it. We've got to deal with it.
Yeah.
What kind of an approach we take to it, I don't know. That's what I'm kind of trying to explore. I'm not here with answers, but I definitely like to look at any kind of an option. I know for myself, when I was out with a buddy of mine fishing, last fall. And when I was saying to my buddy, like, he's from Ontario, and he said, I thought that was a joke. There was a sign. I said, no, you can walk right in there and buy coke, heroin, LSD. That's no joke. That it's legal. And he goes, no. I said, I'm telling you. But the proof is in the pudding. More people are dying. So I don't think people should go to jail, but making it a free for all too, I don't see that really working.
I'm totally
as a
against
option.
all that kind of safe consumption site stuff, like giving out free drugs. As someone who has been who's been into every kind of drug and alcohol imaginable, I think giving away heroin and coke and crack and whatever else they give away, I think that's ridiculous. Because I think people can abuse that rather easily.
What are you in favor? And I'm not judging. Are you in favor if they don't give you anything, but just having a safe, like, exchanging the needles,
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence of all that. Like, I know it does save lives and stuff, but like, sometimes they put these places in not in neighborhoods and stuff, like close to places that they shouldn't be, like near schools and stuff. Like, I don't know. I definitely don't think giving away drugs, like what they did in BC, giving away all these free drugs and stuff. I think that's just nuts. If I was still using, I mean, I'd be like, sweet, I get free drugs. Like, this is amazing.
I know. I'd be getting a buzz ticket from
exactly.
out of Calgary.
I would still probably have a problem if the drugs were free. I mean, I did open up my eyes and realize my life was terrible and I was destroying my life. But let's face it, like when you're committing crimes to get drugs, like, now you're getting free drugs. Well, now I don't have to do anything. But like I've listened to some of the news, like those people take those drugs and then they sell them to school kids and then they buy harder drugs for themselves. So,
well, I think it opens up all kinds of cans of worms.
It does.
How much do they give them? Do they give them enough that they can freaking OD?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because my idea of how much I need and how much you need, and then, just referring back to when you were early in the conversation, I never knew anybody, including myself, that ever did one line of coke, right? I mean, I never did one of anything.
Never.
And I was one of those binger kind of guys. So if left to my own devices, I want to do
as much as I can.
Right now. I'm not one of those that wants to kind of piece it off for 2-3 days. I want to get her at her now. I want to go. I'm trying to chase one line under OD and hope I don't die.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing. And I was lucky, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know people will disagree with me. Like, I got into an argument with the lady who was doing like safe consumption site stuff, like fundraising for that. And, she asked me to work with her and we started working. Then I found out what she was about and she found out what I was about. And then we're like, well, we don't want to work together. Right. So that's kind of why sometimes I keep some of my opinions to myself, because once you start sharing your opinions, then other people who don't agree with you will either try and tear you down, or maybe people won't reach out for help. I want to help anyone that wants help. So if I don't share my opinions on certain things, they'll still reach out to me, kind of thing. But if I share an opinion, maybe they won't reach out to me because, he doesn't agree with this, so I'm not going to reach out to him. So I'd rather just keep my mouth shut. And this is pretty much the first time I've ever shared this in an interview. So,
well, I'm just trying to give a platform, like I said, not pro or con to any one way or any point of view, because the way I look at it is nobody's really gotten it right yet.
Right.
And nobody's cornered the market and said, you know what? You come in here and we've got a 95% success rate. Nobody can say that. And even I've been bashed before, like, to say, even 12-step programs, like, you do have to want it, but there's a low success rate. And I've had people, well, you shouldn't talk about that. Well, isn't this about honesty? Let's get honest here.
Exactly.
You know what? The fact is, it's not really that great. You can tell me this is all we've had since 1935, but it is now 2025. I want to live today, and I'm not dissing anything about it. Believe me, it saved my life. All I'm saying is, why don't we look at different things? Maybe we can do it a little better.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And anybody that wants to bash me or you for having an opinion, well, I don't see them doing anything, bringing it to the forefront. So, honey, baby, pull up a mic and a chair and start your own.
Your own podcast.
And if you've got something that you think is a better secret sauce, please let me in and we'll talk about it. And I'll be the first to freaking kiss the ring of the king that's got this all figured out, because I think we're still quite a ways from it. You know?
Exactly. And I will say, I still go to AA. Like, I only go on my birthday though, once a year. I just go, and I've been doing that since for the first couple of years I did AA. I stopped going, started doing SMART, and then I was doing SMART for a bit. And then every year I'll go for my birthday to get, see everyone, get my card, have, talk to people and celebrate my birthday with all the other people that were there when I first went into AA. So I still do that. And sometimes they give me a hard time about it. Like, oh, you got to come to more meetings. You got to come to more meetings. And I'm like, hey, it's working for me, bro.
So SMART, they don't really do any kind of a celebration?
No, there's nothing like that. I've been trying to see if we could do something like that. But I don't know if you know this. I started my own not-for-profit called the Sober Friends Society. So I'm a sober coach. I help people with their sobriety issues. I deal with phone calls, suicide, mental health, people just reaching out, strangers, friends, whatever. I also host sober activities every month. Like we do paint night, rock painting, canvas painting.
That's what I heard a little bit about that. And I want to come to one of these paint things because I don't know how to paint. And I probably wouldn't be, but I'm like, well,
we have an artist come in and guide you through the painting. We have an artist volunteer their time.
Wow. Okay.
And then they'll pick out like a painting that's easy for everyone to paint. And she'll guide us through it and teach us techniques and do all that kind of stuff. So it's super fun. So I do stuff like that. I can't remember where I was going with that, but
yeah. I didn't know you did all this counseling and stuff. Listen, we're just running out of time, but can you come back on the next show and let's dig in a little bit more on this?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. All we've got for this week, but tune back in. We're going to hear back from Mike and he's going to talk more about smart recovery.
Cool beans. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.